Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gold Bar Podcast. I'm your host, Juan Baranecci, and every single week we interview the top 1% of luxury real estate professionals all throughout the country. Today we have Max Vollmer, who is actually one of Tampa's youngest developers, hitting the scene with over $100 million in active developments. Max, how are you?
Good, thanks for having me.
Anytime, man. So we're here sitting at your construction site, the Ola Residences. Give us a little background on this project.
This project in particular, I have a lot of emotions connected to it. I love Tampa Heights. I've seen what happened here over the last few years, and ultimately what I'm trying to do here is trying to set a new standard for Tampa Heights. We do a lot of upscale luxury townhome developments, single family houses in Pinellas County and Sarasota, but we haven't really seen that type of luxury in Tampa. So you're bringing that same philosophy here, private elevator, upscale amenities, and then we have amenities on the rooftop like a cold plunge or sauna or a 6-person spa, which is unseen, unheard of in Tampa. So you're bringing it in, setting a new standard because the location is where it needs to be. And I think the future in Tampa Heights is going to be more towards upscale.
Who's the buyer you're trying to target when building a development like this?
Great question. Probably young professionals.
Okay.
A lot of people that like to entertain, like to be downtown. I think if you live here, walking distance from Armature Works, you like to be in the mix.
Yeah.
You're nearby all the amenities.
Yeah.
You're most likely hosting people all the time because you are where people want to be. Restaurants are just down the street. You have 2 Michelin-star restaurants just 10 seconds from your house.
Correct.
I think that's the buyer. Young professionals in their end of 20s, mid 30s. They just want to be downtown. They want to be in the mix and still feel that luxury quietness because you're still here fairly quiet to a degree, even though you're right in the mix. But it gives you that single family environment.
And then correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a lot of interest from athletes particularly, right? For this project?
For this particular one, yes. We've seen a lot of athletes asking questions about it, yeah.
Very cool. And then you're a former athlete yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
What sport did you play and how did you go from that to development?
I was a professional track and field athlete, so competed for Germany at World Championships, European Championships, and for the University of Oregon. I was a student there with Nike. Great question, how did I get to development? Ultimately, there was not a whole lot of money in track and field. I was one of the top 8 in the world, but I had that mindset and I knew what it took to be successful, commitment, hard work, all the things you learn in sports. So eventually I made that decision of if I put all that effort towards real estate, try to be one of the best in the world in real estate and treat it like professional sports, what can I accomplish?
Amazing.
And that's kind of like how we started with that same mindset. I just transitioned it over and this is now my competition.
What was the very first step for breaking into development? Because I see a lot of people trying to get their license and I tell them, hey, it's a completely different path getting your license and being a broker and doing sales versus actually doing construction. What was your first step?
Construction is tricky because you don't get into it like this. You need to work your way into it. We always wanted to end up here. We actually started in college wholesaling land to developers. That's how we initially started, then expanded it into 8 different states, wholesale land, wholesale single family houses. Then from there built out the fix and flip division. So we did acquisition, but also did the renovations. We did it in Nevada and Florida and eventually scaled everything then into the Florida market and tailored down towards just Tampa. We did apartment syndications here and fix and flips, acquisition, disposition, and fix and flips. But always wanted to go into construction. But a few years ago, Tampa was not necessarily a new build market. However, 2.5, 3 years ago, that changed. And as we've seen that change, as the city changed zoning areas to higher density, more developments were announced, we jumped on it right away and took advantage of acquiring parcels before everyone knew these areas about to be valuable in the future. And this is where we are today.
Amazing. So you went from wholesaling to fix and flipping, apartment syndications. Obviously throughout that time, you're not just making money, but you're getting the experience and the knowledge on how the entire process works. And then when all is said and done, you saw the right opportunity at the right moment in the market to start doing new dev. What was the first project like? The
first construction project? Yeah. That was actually the one in Sarasota, which was, we were just about to break ground on it. And interesting enough, we've built 30, 40 houses in between, but this one was zoned 100 units an acre downtown Sarasota before everyone started building there. But I saw the potential early on and we acquired it for right around $1 million. It already appraised for 2.5. Wow. Just because the value has skyrocketed. And it was before Sarasota was announced as one of the top markets for the few years to look out for. And now you drive into Sarasota, there's 10, 17-story skyscrapers left and right. Yeah. When I first bought, appraisers told us we can never sell for more than $485 a foot. Now there's not a single comp for less than $1,000 a foot.
Wow.
The market just completely skyrocketed. So that one is the first one that we acquired. And it was ballsy because we went from flipping to construction with no experience. And then here we are taking a 24-unit subdivision in downtown. It's a $60 million project. But by focusing on that, we just said, we're going all in and we just grew from there into even bigger construction
And
firm.
then you bought it for $1 million. It's already worth more than 2.5. What do you plan on building on there? And then what's the projected sellout?
So we acquired 3 different parcels now that we all bought right around a mid-million-dollar range, and all priced for 2.5. But we're doing the first phase of a 12-unit townhome development, similar like this one. So we have 3-story townhomes, a little bit smaller, 2,300 square feet, but we have the same rooftop amenities, sauna, cold plunge, hot tub, outdoor kitchen, and then we have the same hardwood flooring, Wolf appliance packages. So it's a top luxury one. So we have our first 6 units there. We're adding another 6 units in phase 2. And then phase 3 is even one step higher in terms of luxury. These are close to $3 million townhomes.
Wow.
You have your main 3-story townhome, but then you have a private pool. Every unit is a private pool above the garage. So you walk out of your living room, you have a patio space, private pool, outdoor kitchen, and then a guest house above your outdoor kitchen that blocks the view. So it's like a U-shaped townhome in a way.
Yeah.
But your guest house incorporated into your living space, and it's like an entirely different experience of a townhome downtown living.
Okay.
Because that is an upscale luxury, but you're still like everywhere walkable. Whole Foods is 2 blocks away from you. You're downtown. There's phase 3 that's going to start in May. So I'm excited for those ones.
And then do you build out phase 1 and sell out phase 1 and then get onto phase 2, or do you do all of them at the same time?
We're going to build them all at the same time, but we're going to start selling them in phases over the next 18 months. We're going to sell 2 here, wait a little bit, sell 2 more, and we'll start increasing our price.
Amazing.
With every unit that we sell.
And then when it comes to construction, you told me a lot of it is in-house. Tell me more about that.
Yes, we try to initially act as developers, finding GCs locally that can work with us. There's a challenge to it, finding good laborers, finding reliable people that really treat your project like their own. So we realized that as one of our bottlenecks. So we ended up just converting it in-house.
Okay.
Thought it would be easier, even though it's probably as complicated, if not more complicated, because now you're the one in charge and you're the one to blame. But it gives you more control of like the quality and also the subcontractor basis that you're choosing. So
how much better are the margins by in-housing versus outsourcing it?
It's a lot better for sure, because like you can actually like really negotiate the price points with your subcontractors. You have full control, and at scale, if you're doing it correctly, you're minimizing your overhead, but you're dividing it throughout various projects. So you're increasing your margins, gives you more control, gives you also more risk-reverse approach, because if the market changes, you sell for less, your margins stay consistent because you build it as cheap as you possibly can.
And then when you started doing your first development and you started saying, hey, like I need to go on my way to start raising capital for this, did you self-fund it? Did you go to the investors on the fix and flip side of things? What was your whole strategy for raising capital?
It was the single hardest thing, because raising capital is probably the hardest thing in construction or any sort of real estate. So it really, we had no basis there. All the stuff we did in the past did not require real estate investors. So that was the first time us actively raising capital. And it was complicated. It took us, for the first $1 million, it took us almost a year.
Wow.
It was 26 investors that we have acquired, but just promoting ourselves, talking what we do, going to networking events. And from there, raise another 20 million a year later. As you get into the space, as they see the project, as you finish a few houses, it gets easier and easier. You get referrals. You have a 96% retention rate of investors reinvesting and referring us to other investors. And now we're officially also funded by private equity firms here locally.
Amazing.
So this year, January 29th, was the first time we had an equity firm invest with the company. So there's more institutional
Congratulations,
capital.
that's awesome.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Very cool. So the first $1 million is the hardest to raise. After that, you have the experience, you have the track record, it gets a lot easier, and then private equity comes into play. At that point, it's game over. It's just finding the sites and having the infrastructure and the team to build them out. Where's your biggest bottleneck right now? Is it finding sites? Is it construction? Is it sellouts? Where do you feel is the hardest problem for you at your phase right now?
Certainly, I would say it's just the scale of a company. Like every time you start adding, because the acquisition is not the hardest thing for us right now. I think the market is in our favor to acquire. Yeah. And it's every time you start acquiring more, because like now we have 100 million, 125 million on construction, so we're going to fill the pipeline. Correct. So eventually we're going to be like 250 million, and some stuff is going to fall off. So it's that balancing of like what's the perfect sweet spot and how much labor, human working capital do I need. And I think the biggest challenge for me mentally right now is how can I incorporate AI to make it more effective, to move fast, because I see it across the board. Everyone is using it to be more effective. So that's like my biggest bottleneck is how can I integrate it? Because I'm not the techie guy. I like numbers. I'm here on the real estate side, but I think incorporating that is going to help us get to 250 million in active projects without scaling our overhead 2x.
I mean, we could talk about that afterwards, because my partner is very AI driven and we help out a lot of real estate investors when it comes to building out those systems. So we could definitely talk on that. Yeah. But what is the goal moving forward? Because as mentioned, you're very young. You're extremely successful as it is. I'm sure you have this big goal in mind that you're chasing after. Do you have that in mind?
Yes. I mean, I've been following some developers here locally that are doing amazing projects and kind of see their trajectory and how they started, and I think that's the same footsteps we want to take. We are in the single family space right now.
Okay.
We like to pivot and transition out of it more into townhomes.
Okay.
What we do in Sarasota, 24 townhomes in one project.
Okay.
Those type of deals, higher density, less projects, because like if I do already single houses in different locations, it's, in my opinion, more complicated than a 24 unit
Correct.
subdivision. So going to more subdivision developments, condos, townhomes, and eventually just transitioning into the custom side for $5, $6, $10 million custom homes.
Amazing.
We do 4 or 5 of them a year, but the primary focus is more the commercial grade condominium type of projects, signature flagship projects. That's where we would like to be in 2030 and 2035.
Amazing.
Those years, we like to just transition this company more into a commercial, high-end luxury development firm.
Amazing. And I think you shared with me you want to do $1 billion in developments, right? Is that the goal?
Yes, ultimately, once we are at that 10, 15 years from now, we'd like to have $1 billion under construction, which will be a mix of some sort of retail, commercial, some multifamily, and some for sale product.
What happens after the billion? You've reached all your goals. You are at the top of the world. Everything is fully in-house. It's operational. Doesn't require you there. What's after that?
It depends. Either we sell or one of our kids is going to take over. I would love to see family taking over second generation. I'm really inspired by that because I've met a lot of people along the way that are second generation, and the right second generation really enhances a business into a whole new space. So I'm excited to see one of our kids, taste the blood and says, I love real estate, I want to be part of it. If not, we'll probably eventually transition the company more into a build-to-rent development, building 1,000-some apartment units, and then just keep that as a portfolio for our kids to not worry about income in the future anymore.
So it's the Vollmer legacy. That's what it's about.
The legacy. Right now we're at scale, learning, expanding, and eventually we transition that into legacy long-term and make sure the family sustains from it.
Amazing. And then as someone who has, like I said, 100 million in active developments, I'm sure you have tons of experience and tons of books that you've consumed. What's one book that you would recommend for anyone looking to get into real estate development that you would say, this is the one?
Great question. It's actually not real estate related. I would say one of the greatest books I've read is Be Your Future Self Now. So in my opinion, everything that you accomplish is mindset. And that's one of the things I've learned in sports. Yeah. It's like visualizing the perfect competition, visualizing you at the world stage. That's how you get there. Because everyone trains hard, but it's like, can you really see yourself? Can you really incorporate that vision into reality? And that's the same in real estate. It's like if you can see yourself raising $30 million and doing 100 million in construction, you can get there. You got to live it now. So having that 5, 10, 15-year goal clearly written out, you know your path and how to get there, and then visualizing it, bringing it into the here with reinforcing emotions. That's the single most successful thing that we've done.
And I think many people don't plant that flag of where they want to get to. They're in this car, they're driving around, they're going to all these places, but they never really know quite what the destination is. And if they do get to that destination, they don't know how to reverse engineer it back to what they're doing to get there. So I think that's an incredible advice. In regards to getting in contact with you, if someone wants to reach out to you, send you a development site, if they want to send you a referral, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Probably Instagram. We're trying to be more active there on social media. So Max_Vollmer on Instagram. Just send me a direct message and then we'll hop on a call.
Amazing. So just to kind of recap, Max is, like I said, building out so many developments all throughout Tampa and Western Florida. And if you're interested in learning more about the Ola residents or what they're doing here, please reach out to him on Instagram. He has a great team backing him and everything on that side. As always, like I said, we are here at Gold Bar Staffing. We provide real estate investors, agents, and loan officers with luxury executive assistants to help them out with their day-to-day life and help them expand so that they don't have to worry on low-value tasks. So if you ever need help, go on goldbarstaffing.com. That's pretty much it. Max, thank you so much for being on board.
Thank you for having me.